Gravastar gets a good rep here on my channel because I'm always just tickled well by the designs of their products. I've previously featured their crab-like Morse Pro speaker and their alien skull-looking Mercury M2. In fact, it's still my go-to mouse for my mobile workstation up to now. But now I've got a new box on my desk that's going to take that biomechanical styling to a bigger PC peripheral. This is the Gravastar Mercury K1 Lite, their new 75% wireless mechanical gaming keyboard. Let's get it unboxed. I'm super excited for this. But before we continue with the video, let's keep the lights on here in the studio. This video is brought to you by Sneak Attack Design Lab. They're a clothing company that specializes in technical fashion, more commonly known as techwear, and you can see me in their clothes in most of my videos. I've been supporting their brand ever since I met them back in 2019, and now they're returning the favor. Head on over to this link, you can find it in the description as well, to get 10% off your order from their site. Check their clothes out, you're bound to see something badass over there that'll look great on you. Thank you very much to Sneak Attack for this exclusive promo for my viewers. Now, back to the video. So the Gravastar Mercury K1 Lite comes in a black and white box that immediately advertises the keyboard's unique visuals on the front. Unlike other keyboards, it also features a tagline: "Be cool, play it." Sure thing, Gravastar, I'm a cool dude, I'm gonna play it. So apparently it has the MX structure linear switches that have all POM material that's rated for 70 million keystrokes, and it's RGB, and it's made for PC, and it's got hot swappable switches. Apart from those prints, there are very few other details on the box, so we're going to go ahead and open it up. Inside the internal box, we get the manual, which we will instinctively ignore, and we have the keyboard itself, inset into some closed cell foam to protect it from bumps during shipping. There's also an included plastic cover for if you want to keep it protected from dust when you're not using it, and let's put all of it aside for now. Underneath the main tray, we have a box containing the USB-A to USB-C data and charging cable. This seems to be a USB 2.0 cable, so don't expect it to charge the K1 Lite's 4000 mAh battery at super fast speeds. Not that it'll need to, because 4000 mAh is a lot for a keyboard of this size. Gravastar claims that it can last 20 hours when the RGB is turned on, and more than 600 hours with the RGB turned off. That's pretty cool. Then we have a keycap and switch removal tool and 3 extra pieces of Gravastar's custom MX style switches. They kind of feel like reds with slightly heavier springs. Definitely not blacks, just reds. Alright, that's everything in the box. Let's head on over to the keyboard. Upon taking it out of the wax bag, we're greeted with this absolutely gorgeous keyboard. I mean, look at that. Like the Mercury M2 Pro mouse, it's unlike anything I've seen before. Alright, product tour time. As we can see, this is a 75% or 80 key keyboard. It's not compact by any means, but it makes up for it in visual appeal. It has this mecha organic housing to it that would definitely find itself right at home among H.R. Geiger's works, and it's just so appealing to look at. The entire body is in smoky gray plastic, so you can clearly see the workings underneath. Starting here at the top, we can see the custom keycaps on the Gravastar K1 Lite. It's a mix of neon green and white legends, and they have this 8-bit retro print theme on them. The escape key is a lightning bolt. There are different faces on the F1 to F12. The delete key looks some kind of bug, I think, or is it a mask? Or is it the Mercury M2 Pro? The insert key looks like a drum or something. The page up key is a rocket. The page down key is a little alien. The backspace key has the "Be Cool, Play It" slogan. The enter key has a cyberpunk graffiti style Gravastar print on it. The Windows key has the Mars Pro on it. And the spacebar has the words "Game Over" printed on it. It's very unique styling, I hella dig it. I'm pretty happy that there's even a page up and page down key on this keyboard, as it's a very useful thing to have as a professional video editor and VFX artist. Taking off one of the keycaps, we can closely see here the translucent PVC material that Gravastar uses for not only the keycaps but for the entire housing of the K1 Lite. It is very glossy, so expect to have some issue with your bodily oils making it all slick. Prepare to wipe it down very often. The legends are printed on, so these will wear off over time and use. Underneath it, we can see that it uses Prelude Cherry MX style stabilizers. Alright, Oh, and before we move on over to the top, there's also a little chrome plate with the Gravastar logo here at the lower right side, just right beside the arrow keys. Alright. Here at the top side of the keyboard, we can see the USB-C data and charging port flanked by two sliders. The one on the left controls the mode of the keyboard. Flipping it to the left sets it to 2.4 GHz mode, the middle is off or wired mode, and to the right is Bluetooth mode. The other is a 2-position slider, just to select the input compatibility mode to be either for PC or Mac. It's pretty useful, although I'm imagining that a keyboard like this wouldn't look too at home beside a Mac. But hey, if it works, right? Flipping the keyboard over, we can see that no inch of this keyboard was spared from its insane styling. We get the same biomechanical styling here, along with 2-stage flip-up feet, 4 lengthy and grippy rubber pads, and a magnetic storage nook for the 2.4 GHz wireless receiver. It's always nice to see this. For those of you interested in customizing this keyboard, you're going to be happy to know that all the 8 screws you need to undo to access the insides are all right here at the bottom. 6 of them readily accessible, and 2 of them are hidden underneath the bottom 2 rubber feet, but they're still pretty easy to get to. You don't even have to actually remove the feet, you just lift off the outer end. But some of you might be slightly pissed to see that they are not Phillips head screws, but in fact, hex screw heads. You are going to need a number 2 size hex key or Allen key to undo these screws. You know what, let's just undo them now to see what kind of features it has on the inside. Undoing the 8 hex screws and prying off the cover reveals great lengths that Gravastar went through to make this a great feeling and great sounding keyboard. Also, please be careful when doing this yourself, as there is a wire connection between the backplate and the main board for the housing. Remember to lift up the backplate slowly as to not damage the connection between the main board and the battery. First we can see here is the absolutely massive and heavy bottom rubber pad. This gives the keyboard its weight and it reduces the clackiness of the keyboard by filling out space where the sound might be able to bounce around. Gravastar very obviously expects us to take apart the keyboard and see this part, as there is still branding and even some stamp designs on the rubber to make it look aesthetic. Great job here, Gravastar. Next thing we can notice is its 4000 mAh battery taped down to the bottom plate. And as we can see here, there's even more space cut out for another 4000 mAh battery. Could this mean that there's a higher tier, hardier model with 2 4000 mAh cells? We'll just have to find out in the future, but for this model, only one cell is available. As we can see here, the entire underside of the main board is covered by soft silicone foam. It makes sure that bottoming out any of the keys wouldn't give off a hard, jarring crack sound, but instead would offer a soft thunk sound that we all love hearing. I'll carefully remove this ribbon cable for now, remove the daughter board for the USB-C port and 2 slider controls, and undo these 10 screws holding down the plate mount to the housing. Do note that the plate is gasket mounted, meaning that there is no hard point contact between the plate and the housing, minimizing the transfer of vibrations and sound. This is a great feature to have on stock, Gravastar. Good job. And here it is, the main plate and the main board for the Gravastar K1 Lite. No screws on the main plate and entirely removable without taking off any of the keys, and is still gasket mounted. This is pretty impressive, Gravastar. We did all of that just to see this very soft, white EVA foam sandwiched between the main plate and the main board. Yeah, this is pretty much most of what you can mod into the keyboard to improve the sound and body tactility, all pre-installed by Gravastar. The only thing I can see that you can add is some tape mod to the underside of the main board for if you really want to kill any remaining resonance out of typing. But I don't see it as a necessity. Alright, I'm going to redo all of the steps backwards to reassemble the keyboard so we can see it plugged in. Alright, now that I've reassembled the Gravastar K1 Lite, let's see if I did it correctly and didn't break my new keyboard. Oh, and also to see the light show. Now would you look at that? That's the joy of seeing a full RGB light show through a smoky gray plastic body. Let's see all the available RGB options. First off, we can adjust the brightness of the lighting by pressing FN and up or down on the arrow keys. Additionally, we can also adjust the speed of the RGB effect by pressing FN and left or right on the arrow keys. Alright, to change the RGB settings, we can press FN plus backslash key to change the RGB lighting effects. It is currently on RGB wheel mode. Then we have RGB scroll downwards, RGB radial, a game mode where only the WASD, the arrow keys, and escape keys are illuminated in blue, off, static light, a mode where we can change out the colors by pressing FN plus tab, an RGB fade, a reactive typing by row, reactive typing by wave, a starlight mode, a left to right static light scroll, a reactive typing by key, an up and down wave, then we're back to the RGB wheel. Alright, that's pretty cool. Also, do note that since there is a lack of indicator LEDs on the keyboard, the Gravastar logo here at the lower right acts as the indicator for caps lock. Alright, let's head on over to software. Upon connecting the Gravastar Mercury K1 Lite via its USB-C cable and opening the software for it, immediately takes us to the key assignment page. One thing to note before we start is that this is a totally different customization program than the one that comes with the Mercury M2 gaming mouse. So if you're running both peripherals or got them as a bundle, you're going to have to download two separate programs. Alright, let's start at the top of the list here at the left, the Global tab. It shows here device info, a drop-down box to select the language of the app, a toggle whether the app auto runs at startup, exit behaviors for the app, a tap setting that I don't fully understand yet. I'll probably leave a comment down below once I figure out what this is for. Then we have a sleep toggle as well as a duration slider, a debound slider, which is very useful for those of you wanting to use this keyboard for esports, and lastly, a reset button. Alright, let's head on over to the next section, which are the key assignments. In this section, we can see that we can create, edit, and delete profiles, and we can also change the function row behavior here. It seems like the tap function is here again, but like before, I'm not entirely sure what that does since this is the first time I've seen this. Here at the bottom, we can see a bank of inputs split into 6 tabs, which we can just drag and drop to any key on the keyboard visualizer here to change the assignment of that key. It's pretty straightforward. Moving one tab down, we have the Lighting Effects tab. We can choose from a variety of lighting effects here, which we already saw earlier. This just makes the process way easier and the customization process deeper. Don't forget to press the little save icon here to apply your lighting customizations to your keyboard. Moving another tab down, we have a very interesting feature, which also has a typo, effect. But in reality, it's an audio visualizer feature for the RGB. I'm going to play some music in the background here, and as we can see, the keys light up to sync with the music. There are a lot of options here, and if you like this feature, I suggest you deep dive into it because it can achieve some very interesting results. As for the last tab, we have the macro recording feature. It's just where we can record macros, save it to a bank, and use it for the key assignments tab. This is a pretty standard feature among gaming keyboards, so I won't dive into it too much. Now that we've tackled the hardware and software, it's time for the most awaited and arguably the most important part. Does it talk? Well, just to give a frame of reference, I'll be putting it up against 3 of my personal keyboards. My highly customized Sleeper RK61, my silenced Keymove K68, and my daily driver Keymove K87. Alright, here they are. And as we can all hear, yes, the Gravastar K1 Lite can talk. Dare I say, it can even talk better than my Sleeper RK61. It just sounds so good right out of the box that I don't think I'll attempt to mod this in any way. I'll just plug it in straight to my main rig, pair it with my Gravastar M2 Pro, and call it a day. So what do we think about the Gravastar K1 Lite? At $90 or an estimated 5,000 Philippine pesos, it's definitely got some great value. Sure, it's not the most bang for the buck keyboard out there, but virtually none of them will be as complete of a package as you get with the Gravastar K1 Lite. Don't even get me started on being as unique looking as this keyboard. The switches and stabilizers are hella smooth, it sounds as good as it looks, and it's got robust software support. It's got everything going for it, and then some. It's definitely taking the place of my Keymove K87 and retiring it for secondary rig duty now. I've included links in the video description if you want to get the Gravastar K1 Lite for yourself, and even a discount code. Or if you're interested in any of the other keyboards I've featured here in this video, the links are all in the video description. So that's the Gravastar K1 Lite. Do you have any questions about it? Leave them in the comment below and I'll do my best to answer them. While you're there, give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. It helps out a lot. That's it. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.